Mark Zuckerberg himself has admitted there is bias at Facebook against conservatives, and it's something they've been struggling with for a long time. Now, let's be clear. He was specifically referring to the pro-life group Live Action, but he told Senator Josh Hawley there clearly was bias in the Live Action Leila Grace Rose censorship, and said bias is an issue we've struggled with for a long time. Please, digital media leftists, stop. It was Gizmodo who broke the story. We know it's true. But you know what? Tribalists don't want to concede that they are privileged. What's the saying they like to push? From a place of privilege, equality looks like oppression. So all of these stories pop up claiming conservatives are lying to try and game the system. Mark Zuckerberg himself is saying it. Enough. We're done. I swear to God, if I see another story that pops up claiming there is no censorship, well, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably do nothing. I'll just make another video and then complain about it, right? It's probably what I'll do. Anyway, let's read this story. Facebook's Zuckerberg says there clearly was bias and controversy over censorship of pro-life group Live Action. From Fox News. Now, before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you would like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. But of course, the best thing you can do, share this video. I'm going to be talking about abortion and pro-life. Only as an aside, because the core issue is censorship, but I assure you, simply saying the word abortion, pro-life or pro-choice, YouTube is going to de-rank this video so hard, it will never appear in your notifications, in your mentions, on the front page. I can see it in the analytics. It pops up and then goes, boo, because they stopped recommending it. And then they say they stopped recommending it. So, there it is. I'll tell you what. If you think it's important to get out a video where Zuckerberg himself says they're biased, please consider sharing this video. Fox News reports Zuckerberg says the company's handling of fact-checking controversy involving pro-life group Live Action was biased. The embattled tech executive discussed the issue during a meeting on Thursday with Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, a frequent critic of big tech, good on him, on a host of topics, including privacy and allegations of anti-conservative discrimination. I do want to make sure I point out Elizabeth Warren as well has called out big tech. You do the right thing, you get respect and praise from me. We can criticize whoever we want for everything else. On this issue, however, anybody who's willing to call out big tech, go for it. Admittedly, though, the Democrats tend to be on the side of censorship. Zuckerberg admitted there clearly was bias. Said bias is an issue we've struggled with for a long time, to Hawley, one of several senators who questioned the tech company's fact-checking system in a letter to Zuckerberg last week. Hawley also challenged Zuckerberg to sell off Instagram and WhatsApp, now that was bold, which the company owns, and submit to an independent third-party audit on censorship. Zuckerberg declined on both accounts. Yeah, I gotta say, ballsy of Hawley to ask Zuckerberg to sell off two of its biggest properties. And I want to make it's an important point. Facebook is bleeding young users and Instagram is picking them up. There's no way they would sell it off. If anything, Facebook is going to be just a kind of a shell to Instagram. Instagram's growing fast, Facebook's not. The tech mogul's visit to Washington, D.C. came as Facebook faces an antitrust probe being led by state attorneys general and a separate antitrust investigation by the Federal Trade Commission. So perhaps that is why Mark Zuckerberg is finally starting to bend a little bit, saying there is bias. It's coming. It's really funny, and I hate to bring this up. People always cite the interview I did or debate or whatever with Jack Dorsey, Vijay Gadde, Joe Rogan. It was me and Joe having a conversation with Jack and Vijaya, and they didn't quite understand the concept of why they were biased. But we see it. We know what they're doing. We know it's structured in this way. But the most important issue, the reason I bring this up, is that Vijaya said she knows what DC wants and they're not going to come for her. I said it's only a matter of time, if you don't correct this, that politicians are going to come knocking on your door and kicking it in. And she said something like, well, I know what, they want in Washington. They like us. And I'm like, well, here you go, man. I was right. I'll tell you what. Take your bet, take your prediction, go to Vegas, put all your chips on it and see how it plays out. Because in the end, I'm the one who won. They're coming for big tech, finally. And now you're starting to see these companies start saying, oh, well, I guess, please don't hurt us too much. You had a warning. You had time. You could have fixed this. We'll see what happens, though. Facebook's powerful. As is YouTube and Twitter. Last month, Live Action was told by Facebook that its fact checkers had marked two videos containing the statement, quote, abortion is never medically necessary, as false. The tech giant also said that Live Action its links and Rose's page would now have reduced distribution and other restrictions because of repeatedly sharing false news. One video titled, quote, "The pro-life reply to abortion can be medically necessary," features neonatologist Dr. Kendra Kolb. The second video, titled "Abortion is Never Medically Necessary," features a speech given by Rose. Live Action and Rose's Facebook page reach more than 3 million followers combined. Well, not anymore, they don't, because Facebook is biased against conservatives. Facebook removed the strikes against Live Action last week, while the fact-checking organization known as Science Feedback conducts an internal review of what took place. Oh, yeah, it's called political bias because you don't care about science. You know what, man? I'm not going to take the word of any ideologue on a scientific issue. The scientists I know are boring. They're uninvolved. They do the research, say, this is what we found, that's it. They don't talk about the politics. Some are, and they're starting to, and it's creepy. They say, in response to the comments from Zuckerberg, Live Action president Leela Rose said he needs to publicly apologize. I would agree with that. Facebook also needs to remove the inaccurate fact check, resend a notification to our followers who are notified by Facebook fact checkers that our posts were false, and fix their process so it never happens again to us or anyone else. Hear, hear. In a recent Washington Post op-ed, 2 of the doctors who fact-checked Live Action's statement for Science Feedback defended their work, writing that medical misinformation harms patients and that Facebook's decision to remove the fact-check is dangerous. Fox News has reached out to Facebook for a comment. Well, look, set everything aside, we're done here, okay? There it is. Zuckerberg says clear bias in censorship, controversy, pro-life, yada, yada. Does this mean that every single instance of censorship is biased against conservatives? No. Does it mean that Facebook has displayed a clear act of bias and owned up to it when it unfairly targeted a conservative position? Yes. Is Facebook biased against conservatives? Some evidence would suggest they are. The first story, a lot of evidence would suggest there. I'm trying to be careful because you know what they're going to do is they're going to say there was one thing that happened. You're highlighting an anomaly. Okay, dude, chill. It's not. It's one anomaly 50 times. It's the censorship that only ever flows in one direction. We get it. You know, I said before, the thing I say is politics flows in one direction. What I mean by that is the left tells you get out. The right says, come over and have a beer. It's so easy, okay? It's so easy to have a conversation and a debate with a conservative. They're welcoming the conversation. They challenge debate. If Facebook, instead of censoring like Live Action, said, we want to host a debate, they'd be like, bring it on. Not the other way around, though. That's why the censorship impacts conservatives. The left says, ban it, get rid of it. The right says, we welcome it. I don't care what your position is. It's a fact, okay? Sure, there are many people on the left, okay, they're willing to have a conversation. There are many people on the left that I think do a good job, although I disagree with them. Kyle Kalinski's great, Jimmy Dore, David Pakman, great channels. ContraPoints, great channel. But the overwhelming majority, I'll put it this way. I can put out a request for comment to a police department, get a response. Is it perfect? No, sometimes it's annoying, but sometimes it's okay. I can put out a request. I can walk up to a guy in a MAGA hat and say, I'd like to talk to you. And he'd be like, sure, turn the camera on, let's go. You walk up to someone on the left and they'll say, what for? Who are you? Why? No. And therein lies the issue. So the reason I'm highlighting this is that it's not just about the real world. It's not just about trying to talk to people. Politics only flows in one direction on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. If you are a conservative and you're a staunch conservative and you put out very conservative opinions and explain why, yeah, you'll get banned. If you're a leftist and you advocate for violence like Antifa and praise and support an extremist group, you're fine. It's a fact. You can go on Twitter and see it. Sometimes Twitter will enforce the rules against the left. It happens. I've covered it. Typically, they don't. They will ban a conservative for being mean, and they will allow digital journalists from like Vox or wherever to talk about throwing milkshakes at people, which is a crime. You could have someone from Vox go up on Twitter and say, go commit a crime. And Twitter says, so what? So what? But you put out your own video talking about your own issues, Facebook will shut you down. Bias exists. And here we have Zuckerberg himself admitting it. Take this video and just, or the article, you don't got to, put my commentary in it, and just share it with people and say, here you go. The dude admitted it. Can we not? Can we please move on from here? You don't have to like each other's opinions, man, but shutting them down is not the solution. You're not going to solve any problems or win any votes by doing this. So, you know what? Good on Zuckerberg for admitting it, but I gotta say, he's probably just doing it because he's scared of the antitrust stuff headed his way. Stick around, I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.